Languages have built-in functions which perform some kind of task. Many functions need values to operate on, and these things are called arguments. There's a lot of terminology here, but basically to use a function, you have to call the function. Calling a function is done by giving the name of the function and then passing to it the arguments that it needs. What we say is that when a function is called, control is passed to the function, meaning that the function itself starts executing. A lot of functions calculate a value or some values and then return those values. So for example, let's say that we have a function named absval, and what it does is it calculates the absolute value of a number. So calling the absval function in an assignment statement is going to look something like this. So first of all, the function call is on the right-hand side, the expression, and the call is given by the name of the function, absval, and then passing to it in parentheses, in this case, the one argument that it needs. So what we're doing here is we're calculating the absolute value of -7. So when this function call is encountered, what we say is that control is passed to the absval function itself. So the absval function takes the argument, the -7, and it does whatever it does to figure out what the absolute value of -7 is, which is 7. And then once it figures that out, it returns that value to be the result of the original expression. So once we get the 7 returned, then we can take the result of that expression and store it in the variable on the left, in this case in the variable new num. Most languages have groups of related functions. So for example, there might be trig functions such as sine, cosine, tangent, etc. So a lot of times these related functions are stored together in some sort of library, and then if you load this library, you get access to all of those related functions. Most languages have some kind of function or functions that generate or return random numbers, and these functions are called random number generators. They're not truly random, they're called pseudo-random because they use some kind of a process. So what happens is that the function starts with a number which is called the seed. And once it has that seed, it uses a process, it uses a series of statements to take that seed and from it generate a number which is called the quote-unquote random number. So you shouldn't be able to figure out what the process is, it shouldn't be obvious what the random number is going to be, but then what happens is that that random number becomes the seed for the next time the function is called. So once again it uses the same process to start with the seed and from that figure out the next quote-unquote random number. So most languages have some sort of function or functions that will accomplish this. A nested function call is when you have one function call inside of another. So for example, let's say we have two functions named fnx and fny. Here's an example of a nested function call where our expression is fnx parentheses fny parentheses 4. So fnx of fny of 4. So the inner parentheses are going to be evaluated first. So what we're going to do first is fny of 4. So we're taking the argument 4, passing that to the function fny. The fny function is going to take the 4 and do whatever it does to it to return some other number, which would then become the result of this. So then what we have is fnx of whatever we got from the fny function. So first fny of 4 would be evaluated, and then the result from that would be passed to the fnx function.